All right, welcome everyone to the allergy webinar hosted by Silver Lining Herbs. We appreciate everybody coming to the webinar today. Allergies is something that, if we have horses or dogs or even ourselves have probably dealt with allergies at some time or another. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's always been something that you feel a little hopeless or helpless about. Like there's different things that I've known to do over the years, but if your horse's eyes are running or their nose is running or they're itching on the fence or something like that, it's like you want to help them out. So that's what this webinar is designed to do, is to better understand what allergies are, how they occur, why they occur, and what we can do to help them out, and why the silver lining approach to allergies is the best approach to take. So let's get started and learn more about this. And just so you guys know, you guys can put your questions in chat as we go through this. You're also able to raise your virtual hand. I can call on you. We'll have an opportunity at the end to ask questions, and we'll be glad to answer those questions for you. But I want you to know that you're not alone when dealing with allergies. It's something that a lot of horse owners have dealt with, dog owners and people. A couple reviews that I wanted to spotlight from the website specific to horses. Brittany said, this helps with allergies. Notice this has significantly helped my mare's allergies, less sneezing, no more watery eyes. I also use this with a kidney support twice a year for a detox. So Brittany had great results with the allergy protocol that we have. And then Kirsten said, bye, allergies. My horse used to itch and rub all summer long due to allergies, and thankful this product came into our lives and gave my horse 100% relief. The liver truly does balance out those histamines. Healthy liver equals no allergies. And we're going to get into that, why that exactly that connotation happened with that client there. But know that the allergies doesn't have to happen. It's something that we can definitely prevent, and it's something that we can absolutely deal with. So what are allergies? So think about this. So allergies are basically an overreaction of the immune system. And the immune system is designed to help protect the body from foreign invaders. So when the immune system senses a foreign invader, it has to react to it. So when that happens, then it creates a response. In that signal, what it does is produces antibodies that targets those allergens, and then those antibodies trigger the release of histamines, and that creates a response from the liver, because the liver has to filter everything that goes in around the body. So what can cause allergens? That can be like dust and pollen. That can be fly sprays, vaccines. It can be the detergent that's on your horse blanket, anything of the sort. It can be herbicides and pesticides that they're consuming, and can all trigger the immune system and the liver. So the allergies are an overreaction of the immune system to substances that cause a range of symptoms. When that allergy enters the body, the immune system mistakenly identifies it as a threat and triggers that defense response. The immune system produces antibodies that target the allergens. These antibodies trigger the release of chemicals like histamine, which causes the symptoms of an allergen reaction. The liver is responsible for producing and breaking down the histamine, the key component to inflammatory response in allergic reactions. So when the immune system's reacting like it is, when the liver's reacting like it is, it causes inflammation in the body. And that's why we can see those hives and those watery eyes. And, like you might have like sense like tightness in your throat and things like that. And that's what allergies are. So what do they look like? I mentioned a few of these different things. So seasonal allergies are hives, welts, can be sneezing, nasal discharge, inflamed skin. We used to have a horse named Doc, and he'd get into the acorns in the fall. And when he got into those acorns, what he would do is break out in his chest and have like little welts, and then they'd secrete a little clear fluid in them. And so that's just a toxicity in the body. That's an allergen response. And that's saying that the body's being overwhelmed, the liver in the body is being overwhelmed, and the immune system's reacting to that. So that's what we've seen in Doc in that case with those acorns that he was consuming. Also, you can have like a dry cough. So if you're feeding dusty hay, or if it's just dusty in general, it might be, the neighbor is farming and stirring up a lot of dust that could be causing some of those coughs and things like that. Eye irritation causing those watery eyes. Mold allergies is common as well, especially if we're not checking our hay closely enough or our grain closely enough. We can see some mold allergens show up. And that can be a lot of times labored breathing, can look like heaves or COPD, and have the hives in the skin and things like that. Skin allergies, a lot of times it's the itchy skin, like they're leaning against the fence and trying to itch or rolling a lot and doing different things like that. Also, you get those hives and those welts, and you can see all sorts of different hive reactions there. Like in the image that we have on this slideshow, you see that there's lots of little hives. You can be localized to a certain area, or they can be very big all over the body. All sorts of different places they can cause that. Then we see this image of the dog's foot as well. Terrible for like these yeast infections that these dogs will get in their ears or on their paws from the different allergies. You'll see those dogs itching their ears a lot or licking their paws a lot. We can absolutely do something to help them out. So I wanted to break down the difference between like conventional approaches to a more holistic root cause approach, and just understand the difference between the two. The way I was raised was to do these traditional or conventional approaches. So like steroids that reduces inflammation. Like I was always told, like if our horse would have an allergy response, go get some dexamethasone and that will take care of it. But what I didn't realize is it's just masking the problem. It's not actually taking care of it. So our approach is to truly take care of it. Antihistamines, they block the histamine receptors, again, masking the allergen response. Allergy shots is a gradual exposure for the immune system to help build up the tolerance. The side effects of these different conventional approaches: steroids can cause laminitis, immune suppression, ulcers, joint infections, behavioral changes. Antihistamines can cause sedation, nervousness, muscle twitching. Allergy shots can have local reactions, so like swelling of the injection shot or site, hives, itching, and difficult breathing. Where what we're doing on a holistic side of approach is going to the root of the issue. So we know it involves the immune system. We know that it involves the liver, and we know that it involves the gut or the respiratory system, depending a little bit what the allergen response looks like. So we need to support the immune system. Immune overload can be due to environmental irritants. So this is talking about like the deworming, the vaccinations, processed feeds. Those are all things that can tax the immune system over time. So we need to be helping the immune system out. Liver, like I said, the liver has to filter everything that goes in or on the body, responsible for that allergen reaction, that histamine production. So this can be due to congestion because of those chemical exposures, the feed toxins, the stress, and that buildup can eventually result in seeing some of these different signs show up. So a good way to like look at this is we'll talk to clients that are like, hey, my horse is 15 years old, never had allergy issues in the past, and all of a sudden this year he has a lot. Like I don't know what he's allergic to or why he's allergic to what he's dealing with. Well, it wasn't just this year that the problem occurred. It was a evolution of years stacked up upon each other, whether it's an excess to the liver where the liver just finally had enough and can't, work properly like it should be anymore, or a deficiency in it. And when we get into some of the herbs that we talk about, you'll understand why that is. So it's important to have good liver health. Gut imbalances can be due to poor feed. A lot of times we feel like we're feeding good feed, but we really aren't. We need to stay as wholesome as we can, staying away from sugars, processed foods, especially molasses. That's really not good for horses by any means. Helping them with stress, damage from medication, especially like antibiotics, killing all the good bacteria that's in the gut. When the gut is inflamed, it can cause immune system to overreact. So in the human world, we hear a lot about leaky gut these days, but in the horse world, it's there as well. We're hearing more about like fecal water syndrome and different things like that all the time. And that's just one type of leaky gut issue. So what's the side effects of addressing the root cause? So the side effects of addressing the root cause can look like something what they call a healing crisis. So if you've never heard of what a healing crisis is, it's like it gets worse before it gets better because we're actually reversing what's happening. And it's because we're actually purging the body of these toxins and these impurities and things like that. So we can see where like the cough gets a little worse, where the skin may be a little inflamed for a period of time, might have like manure or urine changes at that time. But it's really just that's expelling out of the body. That's years of toxicity overload in the body that we have to get out, and we have to get it out. Otherwise, we're going to always be dealing with this. And so we have to make that decision to help eliminate that out of the body. So usually they're not severe, they're mild, they're mildly increased in that, and usually they only last a few days at the most. I think I've seen it where 2-3 days you'll see some raise of those symptoms of the allergen response, and then the body starts to catch up and has purged that out of the body, and then they're doing well at that point. And if that's something that you've experienced, we're definitely here to help you out along the way to help guide you and help you understand your specific horse or dog or yourself situation, so we can guide you on that. And it might be where we back off on the dosage or stay with it, just depending on the circumstance a little bit. So natural solutions that work, these blends aren't going to be masking the symptoms like we talked about with the antihistamines and the steroids and things like that. They're actually getting the body back into balance to function as well as they possibly can. So liver support, what we need to be doing with that is to nourish the liver so it's healthier. And we also need to be purging those toxins, those allergens out of the body. So some key herbs that are in the liver support: chamomile helps support purging toxins out of the body. Dandelion helps stimulate bile of the liver and help with digestion and detoxification. So when I was talking about that 15-year-old horse, that wasn't just this year that the allergic reactions happened. It was years of deficiency or excess that caused that. And I think dandelion is one of the best examples of that. So dandelions ripe in the spring. That's when horses are going to eat dandelion the most because it's in season. It's just like you and I wanting to eat a fresh apple in the fall. Like that's when it tastes better, the best. And that's what the horse is thinking at this time of year. We're actually just kind of getting through that time frame right now, but they're plentiful. But we deemed them a weed. So because we deemed them a weed, we said we don't want them in our yards, we don't want them in our pastures, we don't want them in our fields. So we spray an herbicide. So when we spray an herbicide, we get rid of the dandelion, the very herb that's there to help support the health of the liver and the detoxification of the body. So not only did we just take that plant away, that herb away out of their diet, causing deficiency, we also put an herbicide on our pasture that caused an excess of toxin in the horse's body. So now you have an excess of toxin and you have a deficiency of nutrition. So that's going to be causing problems, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point those problems will occur, and allergies is one way you can identify those types of things in this situation. Milk thistle helps rebuild liver cells naturally, reverse toxicity in the body. Milk thistle is the same kind of scenario as dandelions. We deem it a weed, so we spray it out of our pastures and our hay fields, but it does a great job. for the horses. When the milk thistle is right for a horse is in the fall, typically. They won't touch a milk thistle all year long, but then that first freeze happens and that plant looks dead, and all of a sudden they eat it to the ground. So that's when that is most beneficial for the horse in that situation. Immune support, some key herbs there. Echinacea supports the immune system. Eleuthero decreases stress and defends the body against toxins. So you've heard me say stress a couple times in this presentation. So that's really important. When just think about yourself. When you yourself are stressed, it wears on your body and it wears on your immune system. It causes inflammation. So those types of herbs need to be a part of these programs to help help settle the body down and keep the immune system strong as possible. Parsley is high in vitamin C and also an antioxidant, so it's really nutrient rich helps with oxidative stress that is abusing the system as well. And we have these herbs in our allergy protocols for the canine line, which is the allergy in skin and coat, and the horse line, liver and immune, and also the liver and immune in our human line. And then depending on what is going on with the allergy, depends a little bit where we go from there. So the foundational is liver and kidney that you can sense, but depending on if it's a respiratory allergy or how affected the gut is, then we might be doing something additionally to that. So if it is like a cough, a sneezing type of allergen, then respiratory support is really beneficial in there. Lots of great results with the respiratory support, and it's because of the herbs that are in there. These herbs are powerhouses. The Irish moss soothes and protects irritants and inflamed tissues, so that like scratchy throat feeling that we'll get, our horses are feeling that same thing. So Irish moss is key into that. Mullein is an expectorant, so it clears out congestion, helps remove that dust and mucus and things like that out of the respiratory system. Clearacy helps reduce swelling in the respiratory system. So all around really great for those coughs and sneezing and things like that our horses and dogs are dealing with. On the probiotic side, probiotic is so important, and our horses are not getting enough of this in our diet, especially if they're on a hay diet. They're definitely not getting enough naturally occurring probiotic in their diet. So we have some great strains of probiotics, prebiotics, and yeast inside of our probiotic combination that does a really good job to help the digestive system for better nutrient absorption, for just a healthier gut in general. Aspergillus oryzae fermentation extract improves digestion and nutrient absorption. Aspergillus niger fermentation extract supports microbial balance within the digestive system. That's also helping the immune system out there. Lactobacillus acidophilus aids in digestion and beneficial bacterial growth. So the more you learn about probiotics, the more you'll realize that your horses need them, your dogs need them, and yourself needs them, so you can just be healthier. The gut's called the second brain for a reason. It has 500 million neurons in it, second to the brain, and it just helps the whole body function better. I want to answer any questions that you guys might have. So if anybody does have any questions, you're welcome to put it in the chat, or raise your virtual hand, or just turn on your camera and turn off your audio. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Kind of going through the chat here, see if there's anything. And I'm notorious for voluntelling people as well. So Riley's asking, do hives go with allergies? Yes, absolutely. So hives is an allergen response. So that's a skin allergen response. So That's saying something went on the skin that the body didn't like itself, didn't like. And so what has to filter everything goes in around the skin? It's the liver. And the liver has to filter all those impurities and toxins and different things out of the body. And the way that a lot of times do is push that through the dermis, through the skin. That's the largest organ on the horse's body, or our body, or the dog's body. And so different things like that can occur. So if you have a horse with hives, then the liver and the immune support is absolutely essential to taking care of that. And when you're dealing with allergies, because when you think about like steroids and antihistamines and things like that, you're just waiting until the symptoms go away. But what we suggest here is, as far as you walk into the woods, you need to walk out of the woods. So just because my symptoms have gone away in 3-4 days or something like that, so maybe the hives are gone in 5 days or something like that, and the horse is doing well, that doesn't mean you stop at that point. Because, like, to my point of the 15-year-old horse that's had years of excess and deficiency, we need to be supporting those organs and those systems. So I'd go the full 60 days, reassess your situation, and see how they're doing. If they're in a good spot, then fantastic. Let's move on to like our total body for overall horse health, or our foundation for overall dog health, or our everyday product for overall human health, and sustain that. And then a good practice to do is to do our liver support and our kidney support twice a year in spring and fall for 60 days, just to mimic those natural grazing patterns of the animals. So the dandelions in the spring is that example. The milk thistle in the fall is that example. See, Monica, webinar's perfect. We normally don't have any issues. We have a horse that came up with what seems like an ulcer. She cut back on feed, flank trembling. Monica, do you mind unmuting yourself? I'd love to know a little bit more about your horse. I'd be happy to answer your question you have.
Hi, yes. Just in some of the symptoms that you were talking about. So sorry. She also has, that I didn't type in there, she started with some nasal discharge, along with what she has going on with what I thought was an ulcer. It's a horse we just got in just a few months ago, and we have underlying conditions off and on with her, but stuff that we can get through with the silver lining herbs. But this one I was kind of perplexed with, because she eats a forage-based diet. So she was cutting back, and then she was starting to eat a little bit of, we soaked it really heavily. And then I gave her what the colic aid today, because I wasn't sure if that might help coat her gut. With what she showed was she had gas, and then she also had her manure was fine.
So help me understand the situation a little bit better. So what makes you think that she has ulcers going on?
Because she still had the manure, and she still had gas, but I didn't know if that was like a buildup of anything. But then she would like move back to her gut, and then she would kick out.
Move back to her gut. So like she's looking at her belly.
Yeah, and then she would push on it really hard, and right after that she would kick out.
Push on it with her nose.
No, she would kick out with her back leg to the wall.
Okay, gotcha. But she's producing manure.
She is. It's
And
not as fibrous, but she's producing it.
okay, gotcha. How's her urine?
So I was out there with her for a couple hours, just sitting in there monitoring her. She did not have any urine while I was out there.
Okay. And is this just like recently, like today, this is all happening, or has this been like kind of gradually happening over a few days?
Over a few days, she cut back on feed, and then she started having more like outward symptoms today.
Gotcha. Besides today not seeing any urine, like how is her urine typically?
It's normally pretty good. The other thing is she's drinking a lot.
Okay.
So what she didn't get, we do chia. So I put chia in her water, and we do linseed too. Then that way she wasn't getting green, but she was getting some type of omegas encoding in her
Mm-hmm.
gut. But
Okay.
I did some research into Coursera. It said not to. It said to cut back on that, but the slippery elm would be beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. For the gut, for sure. And like the slippery elements in the collagens would definitely be a benefit there. What do you feed in for hay and grain beyond that?
She gets a fiber beet, and then she gets Sainfoin. This was just today. My daughter normally gives her a grain with her fiber beet, but after what she's got going on, she's going to have to cut back on or no grain at all.
And then what about for hay or
So she
pasture?
gets a Timothy Orchard mix hay.
Okay, gotcha. And is she, you said like she was twitching in her flanks or trembling in her flanks?
Yes.
Okay. Is she like stretched out, like trying to pee or trying to have a bowel movement or anything?
No,
No. Okay.
no.
What's her body condition like? She lost weight or
She
any?
has in
Yeah.
the past couple of days, just really quickly.
Okay. Do you notice any sore spots over her, like as you palpate her body, like over her back or under her belly or neck or anything like that?
So if I do just distant, not even touching her, she's like thinking I'm touching her. So my energy's hitting her without even touching her, and she's not happy with it.
And is that all over her body or specific areas or
Just in where her rib area is,
on the side?
on the sides.
Okay. How's her like hormones?
So she had just had a cycle last week, and so when I say we got her just a few months ago, she had a foal prior to us getting her. Like basically, when she transferred us, it was weaning her foal off. So when she has her cycles now, she bleeds, and we're like, why is she bleeding when she has her cycle? It's really odd.
So she has like blood in her urine then?
Yes.
Okay.
So then I up her kelp intake on her mineral
Uh-huh.
to help offset what she's doing in her cycle.
Gotcha. Does she have a fever right now? I'm just wondering about like an infection or something like that going on.
I did not check her temp.
Okay.
I can make note of it. I wasn't catching the time, and then I saw it was after the time the webinar had started, and I was like, I really need to listen to this webinar, but
Yeah.
I can go back out and check her temp.
Yeah, so like there's a couple of different things that could be going on. This is like how I would explore it. Like, because how old is the foal that was just weaned?
So I think he was born a year ago.
Okay, so he's a yearling now.
I think he is.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I would consider like some kind of infection maybe going on, especially if this like happened all of a sudden and having some blood in her urine, especially around her cycle and things like that. If that's the case, our immune support and our INFX, that's our
Okay.
infection fighter. So any viral, bacterial, or fungal infection of any kind would be appropriate there. I would also question how her kidneys are doing as well, if there could be some kind of renal issue going on there as well, especially with the blood in the urine like that, like potentially a bladder stone or a kidney stone that could be moving, causing her discomfort. How you're saying like she's kicking out, looking at her side, hasn't urinated recently, lost some weight. I mean, that's kind of where my thoughts go, really more
Okay.
so than anything, especially having bowel movements and things like that. So and if that's the case, I'd still be doing the immune and the INFX to take care of any potential infection that might be going on there, especially like a UTI or something. But then the kidney support would be really beneficial there. It has an herb in there called hydrangea that helps break down. It has a really good, it's a really good solvent, so it helps break down like those bladder stones, those kidney stones, and things like that. And then there's herbs in there like uva that's going to help expel that out of the body, any impurity or anything like that going on. Because it really doesn't sound like colic or anything like that. And you're doing a lot for her gut, between the like the omegas and the slippery elm and different things like that. I would tend to look at her urinary system, her kidneys and her bladder with the kidney support, the INFX and the immune support based off what you're saying, because you're feeding a lot of good things there. So, but for her to just drop off like that, it's got to be, something in that realm like that.
Okay. Okay. That kind of breaks it down a little bit. I do have the immune in stock, and I might have the INF, and definitely I have the kidney.
Okay. And if that's the case, like I'm a believer in being as aggressive as the issue is. So if like, since this is just like gradually built over a couple days and, sounds like it exacerbated a little bit today, you could do like a couple tablespoons of each of those. And, if she's not wanting to eat, just make a paste out of it by adding water to it, put it in a syringe and give it to her orally, and then do that like AM and PM for a few days, and let's see how she's doing. But I'll have JC on our team follow up with you too, and ensure that you're seeing the results you need to see, and make sure she gets the help she needs to get.
Okay. I appreciate that. Now, none of those three will counteract with each other.
No, I've used those in conjunction a lot of times for different situations for myself or for clients.
Okay. Okay, that's wonderful. I appreciate that. And I'm glad the timing on the webinar. I don't normally have issues, but I'm like, oh goodness. It was when you said anybody have questions, I was like, I might as well just put mine out there.
No, I'm glad you did. Your horse is asking for some help for sure. So I'll have JC just message you directly, and that way she can get your phone number and know how to get a hold of you, and we can help you through this.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Thank you, Monica.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions? Let's see. Cami had a question. My vet prescribed Dex for my horse years ago. It's something he has had to stay on. These can be given with medication. Yeah, they can definitely be given with medication. I mean, my whole thought is like, you know, uh, depending on the situation, I'm not like anti-medicine. Like medicine does a lot of good things for us. So there's situations that I think it's a benefit. My whole philosophy is to do the least invasive way possible to help out ourselves and our animals. Preventative is always key to stick on those routines, but definitely can do it alongside it. We've never had negative effects going with our products and other supplements or medications. So be totally fine with doing that. Can they be given to pregnant mares? Yes. I've done that a lot myself. We have lots of clients that have done that and done really well with that. How do I know if itchiness is from allergies or worms? So great question. So I always look for different signs, like two symptoms that helps me conclude what's going on there. So if they're just itching their tail head, if that's like what you're thinking, Nicole, then that's probably more worms. But if they're itching like their sides and hips and shoulders and neck and things like that, then I'm thinking more so on the allergy side of things. All right. And then we do have these products in a seasonal discomfort bundle. You can scan the QR code or go to the website and search for a seasonal discomfort bundle, and we'll have these bundles available. They are 10% off retail price. And then we also have our Memorial Day sale that officially kicks off tomorrow, but we're making this available for our webinar attendees now. So Amy's putting that in the chat so you guys can access that early access to the Memorial Day sale. And then, of course, we're not just limited to our website. We have a great team of nutritional advisors that are here to help you out. So like Monica so beautifully asked that question, definitely ask us the questions. We've walked the miles. We've helped tens of thousands of clients. We've been in business for 25 years, and there's not much that we haven't seen at this point. And one of the reasons we have so many different products and we source so many different ingredients is because we believe that it's variety that really supports and balances out these animals. And with that said, this team that we have are very well educated and can guide you to make sure you get the right products for the right issues. I think that the conversation that Monica and I just had is a good example of that. You know, calling in and trying to figure out what are some key things going on and what is that horse trying to say. Like obviously her horse is trying to communicate to her. We just got to understand what those communication are. So when she's kicking out, when she has a little blood in her urine, when she's looking at her side off feed, like what is she trying to say when she says that? And that's what this team can do. They can guide you and help you understand what that is. It can be something that's a little bit more serious, like what she's dealing with, or you know, just general overall health, or it can be to improve performance, to prevent things from arising. So definitely take that opportunity to get a hold of us, call us, and connect with the team. But we really appreciate all of you guys on the call today. And our mission statement is to improve the quality of life for you and your animals. And this is one way that we can do that, through giving education and providing quality health products that has helped so many people. So thank you for joining us, and we will be hosting another one next month and be looking for the details on that information. Thanks, guys.